All right, meeting will come to order. Ms. Gore, will you let the record show that everyone is present? If you will stand with me, we will say the Pledge of Allegiance, remain standing for a moment of silence. Dr. Clark, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. All right, you may be seated. Thank you. All right, next on our agenda, I see presentations. So, Mr. Mayor, I'll turn that over to you.
Good evening, everybody. We have some couple of recognition celebrations for tonight that I'm glad that all of you are here to participate in. One of them's a little bittersweet because it's the acknowledgement and recognition of our retirees that have announced. Now, there'll probably be some more because some people like to keep that a secret to the end of the school year, or they think we're not going to keep paying them if they announce that they're going to be retired. We keep paying them no matter what. They fulfill their contract. Some people get that in their mind, though, and they want to make an announcement. But anyway, I do want to recognize our retirees for their years of service to the district and to the field of education, period. And at this time, I'm going to recognize them, and I would ask that they come and stand and stay. And then when everybody's up here, Mr. Hill will get a picture, and I'd like for the board members to come down at that time. So first of all, we have Miss Michelle Bishop from Arlington Middle School. I've unboxed Miss Bishop's award or recognition to show you what it looks like. And board members, you can see what it looks like. We're not going to unbox all of them, but we just want to show you what she's getting. It's not a little cheap plaque like we gave when we first became a school district. We're a little bit better off financially now than we were then, so we've upped our game a little bit. It looks kind of like one of those Emmys or whatever kind of award. Looks fancy though, doesn't it? Okay. Well, congratulations, and I'll let you. You want to put it back in the box? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, congratulations. You just stay right up here. Next, we have the principal of Arlington Middle School, Miss Tabitha Banks. Congratulations, Miss Banks. Miss Banks and I started together. She became a principal the same year that I became superintendent, and it was the best year ever to become principal and superintendent because it was 2020 COVID year. So we got to do that together. So congratulations, Miss Banks, well deserved. Next we have Miss Graves, Miss Diane Graves from Arlington Middle School. Congratulations, Miss Graves. I don't think I shook your hand, Miss Bishop, excuse me. I'll shake your. There you go. That was why I didn't do that. I remember that now. Next, we have Mr. Curtis Herring from Arlington High School. Mr. Herring, congratulations. Mr. Herring, I've known each other for a real long time. I've hired him at least 3 times in the history of his career. So in HR and then in Arlington, then he left for a minute, came back. So yeah, all righty. Well, congratulations. We also have Mr. Jeffrey Snyder, Arlington High School. I think, Mr. Snyder, you were there when they opened, right? Maybe at Arlington High? Right, and then I moved you from somewhere to Arlington High. I remember that too. Yeah, I remember that. All right. Okay, well, let's say congratulations to all of our retirees. We appreciate your years of dedication to education, but especially to Arlington Community Schools. And all of you have made unique contributions in the work that you've done every day with our students. And personally, I appreciate that. And I know that our board members and the rest of our district staff and your peers, your colleagues, appreciate that as well. So congratulations. I've always heard that you know when you know and it's time to go. And I've not gotten that epiphany yet, but I'm looking forward to it one day. So anyway, if I could get the board members to come down and we'll get pictures. Dr. Clark, you can join us in front of the podium. So that group has decided that it's time for them to go to the House. And the next group that I'm going to recognize tonight are those people who think that they want to pursue an administrative career beyond where they are now. So we started something new this year, and it's called the EDGE Academy. And I need my cheat sheet to tell you what that stands for. It stands for Educator Development and Growth in Leadership Excellence, and that stands for EDGE. You can see why we call it EDGE for short. This actually is our Aspiring Administrators program that we started, academy that we started this year. And we are, one of my responsibilities, I feel, as a superintendent, is to make sure that I'm doing something to help prepare the next generation of leaders for our school district. And as far as succession planning and just, feeling like you have some folks that are ready to move into those entry-level administrative positions. And you never know when those are going to come open. People have, plans to stay here forever, and then a spouse gets a transfer, and then they come in the next morning, they bring me a letter, and they say, hey, guess what, I'm leaving. And so I sort of need a pipeline for individuals who are ready to take on that responsibility. So we started the EDGE, I believe, Academy back in September, and tomorrow is the last day of the EDGE Academy. So we're going to take a chance, and we're going to let our participants graduate tonight, but they still have to show up tomorrow because we got a lot of good stuff planned for you tomorrow. And tomorrow will be like our culminating session for our academy. We're going to talk about tomorrow your resume, your cover letter. You're going to critique cover letters, critique resumes, and we're going to do some speed dating like interviews with you. And then we're going to put a couple of people who volunteer to do a real interview. And we're going to have a couple of opportunities for that. And then everybody else will critique you. So y'all can be thinking about that if you want to volunteer for that tomorrow. So anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. But I've been very pleased with the way the academy has rolled out. Dr. Clark has carried the lead in a lot of that for our district. Dr. Clark is actually working on a capstone project for an academy that she's in. And so as part of our academy, it sort of happened the same time. She came to me and said, hey, do you think it'd be okay if I did this? And I said, yes, because that means you have to do a lot of the work. And because you have to say that you did all of this as part of your capstone project. So she's done that and has done an excellent job with that. But tonight, I want to recognize those individuals who were, first of all, we sent out emails to everybody who currently holds an administrative license in our district. And then from there, we ask people, would you like to participate in this? And so they also then had to be selected to participate in this from among those people that were invited to initially expressed interest. And we had about 3 or 4 that said, nope, absolutely not. I'm not interested in administration. Don't want any part of it. We're like, okay, so we'll move right on. So, but we ended up with 14 individuals in this academy that we're going to go ahead and give them a certificate tonight and a little token of their time that they've spent with us in the Edge Academy. So I'd like to recognize those individuals at this time. First, we have Blaine Brewer from Arlington High School. Come forward. Your certificate, and then here's a pen to signify that. Congratulations. Next, we have Dr. Julie Forbes, Arlington High School. Congratulations. Next, we have Miss Brittany Goodwin from Arlington Elementary School. Next, we have Miss Sandra Lynn Hester from Arlington Middle School. Congratulations. Next, we have Mr. Chris Hudson from Arlington High School. Congratulations. You got a fan club here tonight. Next, Miss Regina Hunter Johnson from Arlington Middle School. Congratulations. Next, we have Miss Jennifer Jeffrey from Arlington Middle School. Congratulations. Next, we have Miss Tommy Linebaugh from Donaldson Elementary School. Congratulations. Next, we have Miss Lurkenda Little from Donaldson Elementary School. Congratulations. Stand over here. Next, we have Miss Chandra Myers, Donaldson Elementary. Congratulations. Next, we have Miss Amy Overby from Arlington Elementary School. And we have Miss Erica Payton from Arlington High School. Congratulations. Next, Miss Rebecca Sanders from Arlington High School. Congratulations. And last but not least, we have Miss Jenny Tomlinson from Arlington Elementary School. Congratulations. Let's have a round of applause for all of our aspiring leaders. How we want to do this, Tyler?
Let's do 2 rows. If you know you're tall, you'll be in the back. If you know you're short, you'll be in the front. All right, and we'll get in front of the podium again, and then again, leave your windows, so I can see.
Strong work. Amy is over there? What's the last one? Maybe. I knew her husband.
Yes.
They're actually neighbors. They live a couple houses down. I think I'm enough behind some people. Better smile, just get Like we're smelling something bad.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you, Superintendent. That's a really cool thing to get to be a part of. I will give you a break. We always like to break after these things, and so if y'all need to go, hey, I've got to go make dinner, I've got a date I've got to attend, so we'll give you 30 seconds to walk out the door.
It's not a trick.
It's not a trick. You don't have to give your certificate back if you leave.
Seeing none.
All right. All right, good. I'm glad you're going to stay. So point. Yes, there you go. The bold, the brave. There we go. That's what leaders do. Start the whole thing.
Who led that?
It's Thomas that led that. There's your leader right there. All right, Ms. Gore, any citizens' comments? Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve our agenda for tonight?
Mr. Chair?
A motion by Ms. Conley.
Second.
Second by Dr. Viox. Any opposition? There is none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion passes. We'll move to reports. First is Chairman's report. I have just a couple of things that I wanted to run by you. There are some state award opportunities. I think there was an email that came out, from just some things from the schools that have to be due by the into April. I think end of April. I think those things are just a reminder that those things are out there, and just to keep an eye on that if we want anybody to participate in those as well. Secondly, I had gotten an email response from Tom Leatherwood around some of the voucher stuff. Did y'all reach out to him and get anything back from him on? Let me see what that was, and I'll tell you really quick how he responded to me. So I had reached out about Senate Bill 2924 and House Bill 2891, and I just said, hi, Tom, I have a couple of questions concerning these two bills. One, would someone running for school board have to declare if they are Republican or Democrat if this passes and aligns with the primary elections, or would we skip the primaries and only appear in the general election? And secondly, would all school board seats be forced to be held in the same year rather than like ACS is now, having 3 seats up one election for 4-year terms and 2 seats up for 2 years later for a 4-year term? And so he replied, and he said, as I understand the bill now, whether or not there are primaries would remain as it is today. If one of the parties calls for primaries, then there would be primaries. I also think staggered terms would still be allowed as the bill is written now. So, yeah, so hopefully that will be the case. I don't necessarily read it that way, but hopefully that will. Right, it's exactly right. It doesn't say that.
Was that loud? I said that literally is not what it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just as an FYI, that's been asked. If you see him, I would highly encourage you, if you correspond with him, to go, would you clarify this for me as well? So we can get them on the record for sure saying that, so we know what's being put out there. And then last thing for me really is superintendent evaluation is coming up for the board. And so Russell and I just talked about that this week. And so you will see something come out to you on April 1st. It will be through your email. You'll get something through your email. It'll be an electronic response.
April Fool's.
Yes, exactly.
Well done, sir.
Yes. You'll see it through your email. There'll be a 2-week response time, so it'll be open through 5 o'clock on the 15th. And so if you can get to that quicker, sooner rather than later, that would be fantastic. And that is all I have for Chairman's report. I will move ahead to Superintendent's report.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. I sent you all updates, I think last weekend, maybe, I can't remember exactly when. I sent you several things that were going on, current things going on at the time, and then a couple of other things I want to hit on tonight. First of all, you have glasses at your desk for the solar eclipse. That solar eclipse will be April the 8th, and I think the prime viewing time now is maybe 1:57. It used to, it's fluctuating a little bit, but we're trying to keep up with that. And obviously, we're in school that day. We view this as a unique learning opportunity for our students, as we did the last time there was a solar eclipse, and was really a great event for our students, learning experience for them. We are providing glasses to all students, of course. We've had these ordered for close to a year, knowing that there would be a big rush on them when this time came. And they are the approved glasses. I remember last time we did the solar eclipse, there were fake people sending glasses out. And so we had to double check and all of this stuff. But we have the real glasses that we're supposed to have for this viewing, for safe viewing for our students and employees. Students do have the option to opt out if their parents are not comfortable with them participating in this. It will be on an opt-out basis. It won't be a permission or an opt-in. It'll be opt-out. If you don't want to participate, you fill out the opt-out form that will be going out shortly. High school is a little tricky because that's our dismissal time, 1:57. So we will provide students with glasses in their last period of the day. So they will leave with glasses, and we're encouraging parents to tell their kids, and our teachers will be doing some things with our students to encourage them to wear the glasses as well. Students can stick around if they want to view the eclipse, or if they want to jump in their car and go to Sonic, that'll be their choice. But we're equipping them with what they need for that. And if a parent wants a kid to stay around and not drive during the peak of the eclipse, then certainly they can give that instruction, and no one's going to be thrown off campus for not leaving at 2 o'clock that day.
Is
So
there some instructions on not driving with your glasses?
I don't think so. I think you can drive with them. Kind
You
of
can?
think of them as sunglasses.
Oh, I thought they were like, they're not 3D glasses.
No.
That's what I'm thinking in my head.
No, they're just
Okay.
ultra
Just checking.
to protect your eyes.
Now I'm a little bit disappointed they're
Yeah.
not 3D.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You can try those out tonight on your way home. But anyway, I just want to give you an overview of that. I've had one parent to reach out to me so far, concerned that we're going to school that day and that we're not doing a half a day, or that we're not, just not having school at all that day. So I did write the parent back and explained our processes and our procedures, and she wrote me back, and thank you, I feel a lot better about this now. So we may have a few of those that are concerned, and if they are, then certainly people can keep their children home that day or pick them up early if they are not comfortable with that, and that would be an excused absence. But hopefully, that we've done this before, so we know how to do it, and we did it successfully a few years ago. So hopefully everyone will participate and see this as a unusual instructional value. The next thing I have on my list is the Q4 celebration. It's almost time for us to get signups for that, and this will be our end-of-year cookout that we call it. We will have meals pre-ordered from Central Barbecue. That's our end-of-year sort of play on a picnic and cookout for the end of the school year. And hopefully you all can join us and sign up when that goes out. It hasn't gone out yet. It'll go out about mid-April. Again, as usual, we try to celebrate our employees. You all have been gracious to allow me to include that in the budget each year so that we can continue to do that. Our employees deserve this, and this last quarter gets harder and harder. As you know, we have, 8 weeks, 7 weeks after this week left of school, but there's like 20 weeks worth of work that has to be done between now and the end of the year. And so our employees work very hard during these last few days, and it's hard. That people are tired, kids are tired, teachers are tired, parents are tired, and parents are really tired because they know they're getting ready to have these kids for 2 months. So anyway, we just want to continue to celebrate our employees for the job that they do. Thursday, we will have interviews for the AMS principal to replace Miss Banks. And Miss Banks twisted her arm, and she's going to sit in on that panel with us so she can contribute to that and tell us, if we see somebody that we like, and she may be able to tell us, I don't know about that, based on what I had to do. So we had 19 candidates to apply for the position, which is really good. for middle school principal position, and I've chosen to interview 7 of those, and I feel very encouraged of the caliber of not only just the applicants, but certainly the caliber of the 7 individuals that will be interviewing for that position. So I'm real excited about that. The interview team will consist of executive staff members, Ms. Banks, current principal, we'll have a teacher representative, and we have a parent representative scheduled for that team to get everybody's perspective on that. And as you all know, I don't sit on these positions long. That obviously Thursday is our last day of the week because we have Good Friday on Friday. And then early next week, you can expect me to make a decision on that. And obviously, I will inform you all first, and then I will inform AMS second, and then everybody else, and then we'll hit it with social media to make the announcement. One of the things I've been doing this week in my spare time is I've been sitting on the U of M Dean of Education interviews, and that was an opportunity I was asked to participate in, and I took that seriously because I think that's very important, as U of M is our main supplier of educators, teachers, and so we've seen 2 so far. We have the last one tomorrow. And they have asked for our feedback after every applicant. We get to provide our feedback and how we thought the candidate responded and all that. We are, hoping that the next dean can revolutionize the education department and bring it back to what it once was. I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in HR since 2020. 2000, not 2020. I left in 2020. But in 2000, and I said, when I used to come over here to the University of Memphis and interview for December graduates, which is usually lower class, I would spend 3 days over here interviewing in November. And then when May came, I would spend 5 or 6 days over here interviewing. That's how many candidates they had. This year, in the spring class, you can interview in a couple hours and see everybody that they have available for a teaching position. So you can see how things have changed. And so that was sort of my challenge, and my question in the process was, what is your plan? What is your vision for revitalizing this? And we recognize there's a national shortage of people going into education, but what are you all doing what would you do that's innovative to help steer that in the right direction? So I'll be anxious to see the outcome of that process. Next Tuesday night, we have the Night of the Stars, and we've gotten real fancy this year. We're going to have it at Orion Hill, and not up here in the auditorium. We're going to have it at Orion Hill. They got some windows and things to look out of over there. So we're going to have it there, and it'll be really nice. And if you've not RSVP'd to Ms. Cotner, please go ahead and do that. It's a great night. We get to honor our Teachers of the Year, our Principal of the Year, Supervisor of the Year, our Class Act award winners, and it's a really fun night. And we get to eat really well, too. Retirees, again, I just want to publicly recognize you and thank you for your service, again, to the district. I don't think, unless you're in this, people don't realize the blood, sweat, and tears that you've put in over the years of your career to this profession. And we can hope that we will continue to find individuals to replace you that will have that same passion for education and their students. Of course, we're already planning for next year in service. All the things. We got registration going on, returning students, got non-resident window open. I don't have updates for that tonight. I usually get those on Friday, but all of that's going well. And again, we start planning in January for the next year. So we go to school about a half a year, and then we start working on the next year while we're still doing the rest of that year. Thank you again, board members, for the fine arts facility. I just want to publicly again thank you for that and that investment that you all believed in and made for those students. We had a great event with the ribbon cutting. It was very well attended. was a lot of energy and excitement there for those students and those parents who I could tell really appreciated this new space for our fine arts students. Last thing is budget. Our budget's in great shape as we're moving through this process. You will receive your proposed budget documents on Monday, April the 8th. And in advance of our one-on-one meetings with Ms. Sappinsley and myself, that's about 2 weeks before we'll have those meetings, so you'll give you plenty of time to hopefully scour through that budget and bring your questions to the one-on-one meetings. You will also receive this year the CIP plan that we're proposing. That you've not ever gotten that in advance, and so this year that's a change. So you're going to get that 2 weeks in advance, so you can also go over that and see if you have questions about that. And then we'll cover both of those topics when you come in for your one-on-one, because CIP obviously folds into the budget. It's part of the budget process. But those are two things that are very important. So you will get that early. I will have talking points and budget highlights to go through. We will take you through the budget ad nauseum, and you can ask as many questions, obviously, as you want to. And we try to predict what your questions are going to be based on our experience in working through budgets. This is Ms. Sappinsley's first year working through this, her first budget, and she's doing an awesome job, an excellent job of putting this together, and she and I are spending a lot of time together talking about things, and but we'll be ready for you guys when you do that. I do want to encourage you to schedule your appointment if you've not already done so. I think Ms. Gore sent out something, or maybe I did, about scheduling your appointment. And I will be gone the beginning of that week for an Ames meeting, and so that Thursday, Friday, I've kind of dedicated those 2 days to that, or we can follow over and do a Monday if we need to as well. But I'm trying to get those, done so we can move forward with the budget and make any final revisions as a result of those meetings that you all have input, and move through that so it gives Ms. Sappinsley and her staff time to make any adjustments that we need. So other than that, those are my updates. Anybody have any questions for me before I move on to staff?
I'm curious what the ROI is on bootleg.
Eclipse glasses.
I have no idea. We can come up with something, though, I'm sure.
Who takes the time to bootleg those?
Somebody will.
Yeah, so, yeah. Okay, well, we're going to go through.
Let me just
Sure.
encourage the board, go on and sign up as soon as you can. I would just say, let's encourage each of us that when those things come out, if you can jump on those things really quick, anything, not just this one, but anything that they ask us for to register for, if we can do that quickly. We didn't hang out over Janice on her schedule for a long time, and then those get wrapped up, we know when those are. So if you haven't done that yet.
We're
Please be
on
sure.
good track with the budget. I'm excited about it, and I'm also excited to do a budget highlight presentation for our employees that I get to do every year. But I can't do that until after I talk to you guys and make sure that we're all in sync on what we're proposing and what you all are comfortable supporting and that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that again this year as well. With that, I'm going to go through departments. Dr. Clark, do you have a report? Okay. Mr. Goforth? No report. Ms. Douglas? No, sir. Mr. Ruff? No report. He said he got that fine arts thing. He's done.
He's done, he's out.
Ms. Speakman? All right. Mr. Hill?
Close you out, no report.
Okay. Well, Ms.
Man.
Davidson is here, and I've asked her to give a report on her work with AMS, and so she's going to give everybody an update. I've asked her to come in the beginning when we first started, and then I asked her to come today and show kind of where we are with us approaching TCAP testing. So, Ms. Davidson?
Okay. As Mr. Mayo said, he asked me to come and give the report, but I want you to know that I'm not the main person working on this. This has been a team effort. Mr. Goforth has been wonderful to share his department. Ms. Douglas has been fantastic to work with, to give us data, whatever we needed. And I just can't say enough about Arlington Middle staff, teachers, everybody over there, from Miss Banks to her assistant principals to the teachers. They have really took what we've said and ran with it. So I have a very good report for you tonight. Okay? We started out with this talking about a growth mindset. And I know you see that in a lot of education books, but you know, it happens in real life too. For example, I know if Miss Williams, if somebody came to you and I and said, ladies, by December, I want you to run a half marathon at St. Jude, we would both be like, we can't do that. What? But the reality is, especially for me, with a lot of physical therapy and some training, I might be able to do it. I know I'd be able to do at least part of it. So we kind of had to work on mindset, and Miss Banks was phenomenal with that. Anytime we made a suggestion, somebody said, well, we've always done it this way, she was the first to say, that's not working though, we need to change. And she said that, I've heard her say it at least 50 times. So she has been the leader of this charge, done a great job, has 2 great assistant principals that have been on board with her, and those teachers over there have worked so hard this year. I'm in awe of what they've accomplished in such a short time. So I'm showing you each subject area and grade level and where we are. So if you see yellow, that means that they haven't quite made their annual measurable objective yet, but they've improved from last year. If you see green, that means they've already made, with CASE, their annual measurable objective. And keep in mind, that column means not only did they do what the state said they were going to do, they did above that. So, I mean, even in ELA, every subject area has made improvements. Math, same thing. We have 6th grade has made their AMO in math. 7th and 8th grade are close, not quite there yet, but we're working toward it. Algebra 1, way over their AMO. Science, you see on the left side, there's one box that's green. That's from last year. Last year, they had 1 green, 1 AMO is what they ended CASE with. Now they have every subject area has made improvement, and 7th grade has already met their AMO. Social studies, 6th grade social studies is our only area that we're really focusing on. They have not made the improvement, but they have a plan. We're working on it. 7th made AMO, and 8th has made improvement. So as you can see, in every single area, we're seeing growth at the middle school. Now, Mr. Benjamin, I see you post every week on the Facebook for our students who do a good job. So what is your word for us?
Boom.
Thank you. Thank you. But now, if you think this is good news, I've got even better news. This is our special ed I pulled, because that's what got us on the target list with special ed. And I started with 6th grade. I only did this year because those students were only students at AMS for this year. But look at all that green. It's amazing what they've accomplished with special ed students. 7th and 8th, I pulled last year's data and this year's data, and as you can see, there's more green than there is red and yellow. 8th grade, same way, more green than anything. In fact, 8th grade math does not have one student that has not met what the state said they needed to do. Not one special ed student. That is amazing. Now, our biggest, we're going to do the happy dance. And let me tell you why. Look at this. AMS has always been number 4 in our district. And I don't like comparing our schools because I work with all of them and they're all great schools. But because they've been at the bottom for the whole time the district has been here, I feel like they deserve some recognition, even above our other schools. If you look up here, they have the most AMOs of any of the 4 schools. They've met 6 of them, so they're at 46% of their AMOs. DES is at 56%, which is the highest, so AMS is second, but they've met the same number as DES, they just have more that they have to meet. And then it's AES and AHS, which, again, I've talked to those schools, there's a plan in place. I know that they're working hard. All the schools are having their data digs right now after we got back our case. So everybody's on it. I feel really good about the middle school. Of course, remember, this is one test. You know, who knows what they're going to do on the TCAP, but it's a good predictor. So higher we're going. That's all we have to do is hang in there, keep moving higher. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Davidson and Ms. Banks, for being open to letting us invade your school this year to provide assistance. But I tell you, this team has worked like crazy to get these results, and we hope that's a continuing process, that we will continue to see progress there. With that, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent. Financial reports, Ms. Sappley? Okay, thank you. Legislative liaison, Mr. Dunn.
Yeah, nothing really to speak to specifically, but this past week I sent out the noteworthy bills and an update, and I didn't know if you had any questions or any comments that you guys would like to make about this, but everything's getting ready to wrap up. There are some very interesting bills that are out there currently, one of which you mentioned earlier, and it's the voucher bill, and that one will be interesting to watch, I think, out of all of them,
Yeah,
at least the most for me.
yeah, that was very helpful. Thanks for sending that out.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions for Mr. Dunn? All right, we will move on to our consent agenda. Do you have a motion to approve consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Williams, second by Ms. Conley. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Consent agenda passes. Business recommendation items, Mr. Mayo.
The first item you'll see under business recommended action items is the recommendation to approve the purchase of iPads for first grade for the 2024-2025 school year from Apple in the amount of $139,940.75. And so with that, it is my recommendation that you approve the purchase of iPads first grade for 24-25 school year from Apple in the amount of $139,940.75. And I do want to give you a background because you're going to see 3 of these that are similar tonight. And every year we buy for first, fifth, and ninth grade, those students, and then they have those iPads, like the first graders have them until they reach fourth grade. Then at fifth grade, they get a new one, and that takes them all the way through middle school. And then at ninth grade, they get a new one, and that takes them all the way through high school. So we're refreshing the iPads every 4 years with the students, but we're purchasing first, fifth, and ninth grade iPads every year to keep that cycle going, okay? So that's the background on that. And the first one is for, as I mentioned, I recommended that you approve for first grade in the amount of $139,940.75. This money's already in the budget, but because it's over $100,000, the board has to approve it.
Okay, you've heard Superintendent's recommendation. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
A motion by Dr. Viox. Have a second. Ms. Conley. Any discussion past what Superintendent's talked to us about? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes.
Item 8B is the recommendation to approve the purchase of iPads for fifth grade for the 2024-25 school year from Apple in the amount of $214,940.75. $1,532.50. And with that, it is my recommendation that you approve the purchase of the iPads for the fifth grade for 24-25 from Apple in the amount of $214,532.50.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Dunn, second by Dr. Viox. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes.
Okay. Business item 8C is the recommendation to approve the purchase of iPads, ninth grade, for the 2024-2025 school year from Apple in the amount of $305,180. So with that, it is my recommendation that you approve the purchase of iPads for ninth grade for the 2024-25 school year from Apple in the amount of $305,180.
For the superintendent's recommendation, do you have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Motion by Ms. Williams, second by Ms. Conley. Any discussion? The only question I had that I didn't know about was, we sell these back to Apple, right?
Is that right?
We do sell them back. It's not Apple, it's a third party.
A third party. And what type of recoup-ish, like if we spend $300,000 on high school iPads a year, what is the typical return-ish for those?
Typical return is about 18-20%.
Okay.
But, you know, a lot of that is based, actually, all of that is based on condition.
Condition, okay.
And 4 years for any age school student to have a device for that long, they're typically not in great shape.
Left on the playground.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, anything else? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. One last item.
Okay, so business recommended action item 8D is the approval of the 2025-2026 instructional calendar, and if that motion gets on the floor, then I have a presentation to make before you
Okay.
vote.
There is the approval for the 25-26 instructional calendar. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Williams.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dunn. Any discussion? Mr. Mayo?
All right. You're going to see, sorry. Mission Impossible.
Wait, is this part of the gig?
That's what I wanted.
Spam.
Oh.
Got to turn that off
Some people come in
tonight.
the door?
Shut my email off but forgot my phone. All right. So I'm going to go to the next slide if I can. Okay, here we go. Calendar committee. First of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about the calendar committee. The 25-26 instructional calendar options were created by each school, and the calendar committee is also the superintendent's leadership roundtable, which has representatives from each school. Both certified employees and classified employees are represented on that roundtable. And so this year we did something a little differently. Rather than bringing calendars to the group, we told the group, we said, okay, here's the law that has the things that you have to have in your calendar. We typically operate on a 175-day calendar instead of 180 because we use those flex days. So we want you to take this, and here's this year's or the calendar that's going to be in effect for next year. We want you to take this and, as a school, develop your own calendar. And you can talk to your colleagues and get feedback and all of that, but come back to us with a calendar. Well, every school created pretty much the same calendar. There were a couple of calculation errors in the number of days, and they learned making a calendar is not as easy as we make it look. So they got to have that experience, which was a great exercise for them. So when they came back, they basically all had the same calendar that they presented. But as we discussed the calendar and we went through some things as a group, another calendar evolved out of that discussion. And so we said, okay, well, we'll have two calendars now. Because at first we thought, well, do we vote? Do we send this out or what? Because there's really only one calendar. But then as we talked through that, we started talking about some things that could be advantageous. And so we landed on 2 calendars that we're going to propose and get out there. And that solely came from the calendar committee that day. They came with a different calendar, but they ended up with another option for the calendar. And ironically, that's the calendar that will end up being recommended, was the new one they came up with after we were sitting in the meeting together. So I'm gonna walk you through that. So we had 2 options for the calendar. Option A moves the February District Learning Day from President's Day, which traditionally falls on a Monday, to the Friday after parent-teacher conferences. And then no students report on District Learning Day. So what happens with this calendar is it also gives employees the opportunity to debrief for a longer working day, because keep in mind, most people don't realize this. Teachers work a full day, and then they work another half day after they've worked a full day. It's not just an hour of conferences. It is a half day of their contract that they have to work on these conference nights. That's why we always try to do it at the end of the week. Because if you do it at the beginning of the week, they're dead on Monday, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they have to keep working. So it's not optimum to have that conference night any earlier than needed. So what happens on this calendar on President's Day, they would have parent conference nights after working all day. They would have it on Thursday evening, and then the next day they would have their professional learning day, but no students would come. And then on Monday would be President's Day, and no students nor teachers would report on that day. Okay, so that's that first option. Well, let me talk about the second one. I got ahead of myself. Okay, so calendar B, which is the one they came back initially with, calendar A was the new one that they came up with in the meeting. Option B is actually would follow that same format we've sort of followed in the past. You would have parent conference night, work all day, parent conference night on Thursday evening, and then students would come back on Friday with teachers for another teaching day. And then that Monday, kids would be out, but teachers would report for their district learning day. So here's the demographics of the survey. We opened the survey on February 21st. We closed it. It was open for 10 days. We closed it on Friday, March 1st. We had 818 responses. 291 employees provided input. That was 211 teachers, 63 support staff employees, and 17 administrators. 527 parents provided input. So the overall breakdown of the survey was 68.1% prefer calendar A, 31.9% prefer calendar B. And that's everybody that took the survey. If you look at teachers or employee breakdown, calendar A, 82.5% of employees prefer calendar A, as opposed to 17.5% of employees that prefer calendar B. And those calendar B people are typically people that they don't want to do flex. They want to go back to 180-day. We didn't even offer that as see, they're laughing. It is laughable that we would go back to that. But there are people out there that say, you know what, I get sick of doing that flex stuff. I just rather go on to school my 5 days and be done with it. The other 82% love being off a week at Thanksgiving, because normally they're not. They would be off 2 days instead of 5 days. Yeah. So they like having that, and then that couple of extra days at Christmas when it works out sometimes on the calendar. So that's the employee breakdown. So parent breakdown, it still was calendar A. Parents voted 60.2%. Calendar B, 39.8% for that calendar. So I also want to go over a few additional comments, because we also allow people that respond to the survey an opportunity to provide comments or suggestions, that is it something we need to go back and look at, with that. So the first calendar comment, now we had some comments on there that are not calendar related, as usual. You know, somebody wants to fire somebody on the calendar survey, you know, or teachers, I need a raise, you know, they put that on the calendar survey. So we cull through those and we make the ones that are relevant. So why don't you align your fall and spring breaks with other municipal districts? You know, and so our response to that is we have always been the first district in Shelby County to have a board-approved calendar. For example, next school year's calendar was approved in January 2023, 5 months before any other district in Shelby County. We will once again be the first to approve the 25-26 calendar. And if those of you that were around in the early days, we developed the first calendar and every other municipal district adopted our calendar. As time has moved forward, people have made changes. They still follow our format, but they make changes. Like I know Collierville had a different spring break this year than we did. And I didn't read a lot of good things about that when people started to realize that they had off, you know, and U of M aligns with us sometimes, UT Knoxville does, sometimes it doesn't. You know, it's just the way that it falls. What drives our calendar breaks and those kinds of things is the instructional days between quarters. You know, you can't have 30 days in a quarter and then have spring break. You need to be as close to 45 days as possible in those quarters in order to have maximum instructional time and balanced instructional time in each of those quarters. Now, occasionally that third quarter you'll see will be a little bit heavier because we have snow during the third quarter. So it makes sense that quarter may be 48 days or 47 because you're going to be out some for snow like we were this year. So that's the first topic that was addressed. Can parent-teacher conferences, and I already talked a little bit about this, can parent-teacher conferences be held on different nights for each school? As always, parents can request and schedule a conference at any time during the school year that they feel it's necessary. You don't just have to wait till the conference night. You know, if you've got a concern, contact your teacher, get you a conference. The 25-26 calendar based on parent and teacher feedback, and if approved by the board, will also move the district learning day to the day after parent-teacher conferences. And as I've addressed, this would not be possible if we separate the conference nights, placing undue hardship on the teachers, as I mentioned earlier. If you have a teacher who teaches all day, and then they've got conferences on Monday night at one school, then another school they've got conferences on Tuesday night, then that makes for a long week for that teacher to have to get to the end of the week and still be good for their students in the right state of mind to provide instruction. So we have always tried to put that conference as far to the end of the week as we can. And that calendar A does an even better job with that this year because the teachers come back, but it gives them a break from students. They don't have to be ready for students after they've worked that day and a half.
Yeah.
So can we consider year-round school with each quarter being separated by 2-week breaks? We actually discussed that in the Superintendent's Leadership Roundtable about year-round school, but with all of the mandates for teacher retention, student retention for third grade and now fourth grade, and the summer camps and the tutoring and all that has to be added, there's no window that you could have a year-round schedule with the current state mandates that we have. So that's an impossible thing to do if we wanted to do it. And I'm not opposed to looking at it on a normal year if we can ever get all this stuff out of the way and gone. So anyway, that would be our response to that comment. And then here's the funny one to me. Can employees please not return until after August 1st? Parents also carry this view of later in August, the better. Every year, we try to begin school as late as possible. Under the 170-day flex calendar, there are only so many options that we can present. Employees and parents have come to expect the following: a week out at Thanksgiving, minimum 2 weeks at Christmas, and the last day of school before Memorial Day. That's sanctioned. You know, that's a religious thing. You know, we don't go beyond Memorial Day. And so when you have all of that in place, sometimes the teachers may have to come back on July 31st or July 30th, or, and then we have a new teacher for 2 days before that. So if you get all of that, and there's only 175 days to put it into, it just doesn't work
Yeah.
to do late start, all of these holidays, and then out by the time that we're supposed to be out by every year. So that's a response to that comment. Why do both 25, 26 options have students starting school on a Thursday instead of a Monday? That's something we're going to be doing next year for the first time. That calendar was approved last year, but we'll be doing it next year. So we really haven't seen how that works because we've not implemented that calendar, but it's something that has become very popular with our teachers and our employees because the thought process is, let's bring them in Thursday, and we've got Thursday and Friday to go over procedures, establish rules, do all of those things that you have to do at the beginning of the school year, sign lockers, all of that, if they still have lockers. Then you come Monday, you're ready to roll.
Yeah.
That's the thought process behind that, and teachers have voted overwhelmingly for that. Now, we'll see this year if it's going to work, or are parents going to say, oh, we're just going to miss those 2 days and stay a couple of extra days at the beach. We'll see y'all on Monday. So we've got to figure out what the attendance rate is and all of that, and we'll be tracking that to see, okay, that's not a good plan. We need to go back to a traditional Monday start. But it's something for us to look at, and if the premise behind it is a very good premise, to get all of these things out of the way before you bring kids in back on Monday, and then we're ready to go regular schedule.
Yeah.
So, all right. So with all of that, I'll entertain any questions, but you will see that it is my recommendation that calendar option A be approved for the 2025-2026 school year. But I'll take any questions that you may have.
All right, we don't have a motion on the floor yet, do we?
We did it before.
Oh, we did, okay, yeah, that's right, we did.
Have we?
We did do the motion before, so questions, questions.
So just a comment really more than anything, and I'm not sure how other districts do this because we've never looked, but I want to say from a board member's perspective, it is fantastic that you involve all of these people in the decision-making process. And even better, which I never thought would be better, but that you allowed them to go from scratch and create a calendar. So now they have a little bit of an understanding how difficult it is to navigate the state mandates in regards to
I think they enjoyed
teaching.
it. Miss Little?
Did you enjoy that?
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
No, it's Miss Myers. I'm sorry. Miss Myers, is she gone?
She left.
Okay, yeah, she's on the team. I don't think there's anybody else in here that's on the leadership team.
It's always interesting to see the percentages, and I mean, these are pretty telling as far as being overwhelming, but I appreciate you involving those people. I'm not sure everybody does that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love the idea around the 2-day preparation time too, because as the husband of a teacher, that is, it's, I know there are things that have to get done, and those
Yeah.
are part of the school year getting started up, but it's hard to transition to that on a Wednesday after you've done that for
Yeah.
2 days. So I love the fresh
Yeah.
Monday start.
It gives them a blow back in, and then
Yeah.
they get the weekend, and then they're ready to go on Monday. We're
Yeah.
hoping that's going to be the
Yeah.
outcome of this calendar structure.
And I love the Monday after parent-teacher conferences and the in-service day. I think that's fantastic. Yep.
As a former administrator, I think this is outstanding, I really do. And I think you have pulled the best of all scenarios together, or the leadership team has. And I think it's outstanding, I really do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The cool thing to me about this calendar that we're recommending is it wasn't the calendar we started with.
Yeah.
And it came solely from that leadership group, everybody pinging off each other with these discussions, and then all of a sudden, somebody was like, well, wait, why couldn't we do, it's like, we could do that. So that was a real neat thing to happen, that they came in with one calendar that they developed, and then they developed another calendar, and it ended up being the one that's mostly favored.
Yeah.
Also interesting that different schools all brought you basically the same.
They did, yeah,
It's pretty interesting.
yeah.
That's good.
So,
All right, any other comments, questions? All right, all those in favor of adopting calendar A, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, calendar A passes. Any other comments, anything else from the board? Anything else we need to cover?
I want to thank, that we got this report
Yes,
like we were promised.
yep. Very good, yeah, thank you for that. Anything else? All right, we are adjourned.
Woo-hoo.